The vast emptiness of space stretched out before the horizon, a small merchant vessel that looked insignificant against the infinite darkness. Captain J. Park stood on the bridge, her hands resting lightly on the control panel. The ship's exterior was unremarkable. A simple gray hull with minimal external modifications that would make any experienced space traveler overlook it completely. Sung Ho, the ship's chief engineer, monitored the system displays. His fingers moved quickly across holographic interfaces, tracking every minute change in their surrounding space. The ship's interior hummed with a quiet energy, a subtle vibration that spoke of hidden capabilities. Suddenly, the communication systems crackled. A massive warship emerged from hyperspace, its hull easily 10 times the size of the horizon. The vessel was angular and menacing, with weapon ports that gleamed like predatory teeth against the starlight. "Unidentified human vessel," a deep voice announced. "You have entered restricted space. Prepare for immediate inspection and potential seizure." J. Park remained calm. Her eyes, sharp and calculating, studied the approaching ship. Years of experience had taught her that appearances could be deceiving. The Crotal vessel might look intimidating, but she knew something they did not. The Crotal communication officer continued his aggressive transmission. "Your vessel is clearly inadequate for deep space travel. Surrender your cargo and prepare to be boarded." Sung Ho leaned closer to Jay, whispering, "They have no idea what we're carrying." A slight smile crossed his lips, a dangerous, knowing expression. The massive warship began to move closer, its weapon systems powering up. Red targeting lights flickered across the horizon's external sensors. To any other ship, this would have been a moment of absolute terror. But not for this crew. Inside the ship, specialized systems began to activate. Modifications that looked like simple maintenance panels started to shift. Weapon ports that appeared to be cargo hatches slowly recalibrated their positions. Nothing was exactly as it seemed. "Maintain current trajectory," Jay instructed her crew. Her voice was steady, almost bored. The Crotal ship continued its approach, clearly expecting an easy conquest. Its commander believed this small human vessel was nothing more than a simple target, easy prey for their advanced technology and overwhelming firepower. But humans had learned quickly in the decades since first contact with alien civilizations. They had become masters of adaptation, of turning limitations into unexpected strengths. Sung Ho's fingers danced across the control panel. Quantum processors began calculating multiple potential scenarios, each calculation happening in microseconds. The ship's defensive systems were primed, waiting for the precise moment of engagement. The distance between the two vessels continued to close. The Crotal warship's weapon systems were now fully powered, casting an ominous red glow across the surrounding space. Their communication system continued to bark demands and threats. "Final warning," the Crotal commander announced. "Surrender or be destroyed." J. Park simply raised an eyebrow. Her hand moved almost imperceptibly closer to a specific control panel. Sung Ho caught her movement and took a deep breath. Everything was about to change. The next few moments would determine not just the fate of this single ship, but potentially the perception of human capabilities across multiple star systems. What looked like a simple merchant vessel was about to reveal something entirely unexpected. Space waited, silent and patient, as the two ships approached each other. The Crotal vessel confident in its superiority. The horizon, calm and prepared. Moment of perfect tension hung in the void. Then everything would change. This was more than just a confrontation. This was a statement. A message that would echo through the galaxy. Humanity was not to be underestimated. The stage was set. The players were in position, and the first move was about to be made. Deep within the Horizon's engineering section, Sung Ho worked with a precision that bordered on obsession. The room was filled with modified equipment that looked nothing like standard spacecraft technology. Exposed circuits and custom-built modules created a complex network of potential energy. Each system had been carefully designed, tested, and reconfigured multiple times. What appeared to be simple maintenance panels concealed advanced weapon interfaces. Cooling systems were actually adaptive energy redirectors. Nothing was what it seemed. J. Park entered the engineering bay, her boots making soft sounds against the metal floor. She watched Sung Ho work, understanding the intricate dance of preparation he was performing. Years of experience had taught them both that survival in deep space meant being 3 steps ahead of any potential threat. "Status?" she asked simply. Sung Ho didn't look up. His hands continued moving across the control interfaces. "Quantum shield generators are at 98% capacity. Adaptive camouflage systems are fully operational. We're ready." The ship's history was written into its very structure. Humans had learned hard lessons during early space explorations. First contact with alien civilizations hadn't been peaceful. Each encounter had taught them something new about survival, about adaptation. The horizon carried memories of previous missions. Scars from past encounters were hidden beneath carefully reconstructed panels. Each modification told a story of survival, of unexpected victory against seemingly impossible odds. Sung Ho pulled up a holographic display showing the ship's internal systems. To an untrained eye, it would look like a complex maze of interconnected lines and energy flows. But every connection had a purpose. Every circuit was a potential weapon. "The Crotal think they know us," he muttered, more to himself than to Jay. "They've studied human ships. They believe they understand our technology." Jay smiled. That was their greatest advantage, the element of surprise. The ship's quantum processors worked constantly, calculating millions of potential scenarios each second. Defensive strategies, attack patterns, energy redirection. Everything was constantly analyzed and refined. Their current mission looked like a simple trade route, a merchant vessel carrying standard cargo. But beneath that facade lay something entirely different. Years of technological innovation, of pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Sung Ho checked the adaptive camouflage systems. They could make the ship appear smaller, weaker, or completely disappear from standard scanning technologies. It was more than just a defensive mechanism. It was a weapon of psychological warfare. "We're ready," he said finally, turning to Jay. The ship around them seemed to breathe. Dormant systems waited, potential energy humming just beneath the surface. Years of human innovation were compressed into every circuit, every modified panel. Outside, space remained vast and indifferent. The Crotal warship continued its approach, believing in its absolute superiority. They had no idea what was waiting for them. Sung Ho began a final system check. Each module was tested, each connection verified. The ship was more than just a vessel. It was a carefully constructed trap, waiting to be sprung. Jay watched the preparations, her mind already moving through potential scenarios. Humans had become masters of unexpected victory. They understood that true strength wasn't about size or initial appearance, but about adaptability and intelligent design. The engineering bay was a testament to human innovation. Custom-built systems that defied conventional understanding. Technologies that broke the rules of what should be possible. 10 minutes to potential engagement, Sung Ho announced. Jay nodded. Everything was in place. The trap was set. The horizon might look like a simple merchant vessel, but beneath that unremarkable exterior lay something far more dangerous. A product of human determination, of endless innovation, of the ability to turn limitations into unexpected strengths. Space waited. The Crotal warship approached, and the horizon prepared to show them exactly what humans were capable of doing. The first energy weapon struck where the horizon should have been, but the ship wasn't there. It moved with a fluidity that defied its apparent size and design, sliding between incoming attacks like water through fingers. Sung Ho's hands danced across the control panel. "Initiating Ghost Whisper protocol," he called out, his voice calm and steady. The ship transformed. What moments before looked like simple cargo hatches suddenly became weapon ports. Energy signatures that had been completely hidden now blazed, with unexpected power. The Crotal warship's sensors went crazy, unable to comprehend the sudden change. Captain J. Park stood perfectly still, her eyes locked on the tactical display. Each movement was calculated, each response precise. The Horizon wasn't just defending, and it was hunting. The first counterattack came without warning. A precision strike that cut through the Crotal ship's primary shield generator. It wasn't a massive explosion, but a surgical strike that removed the ship's primary defensive capability with terrifying efficiency. They thought we were weak, Sung-Ho muttered, watching the tactical readout. They were wrong. The Crotal vessel began to respond, but its attacks were now defensive. Panic had begun to replace their initial confidence. Human ships weren't supposed to move like this. They weren't supposed to fight like this. Jay's voice cut through the tension. Redirect secondary power to quantum disruption field. Her command was simple, but its impact was immediate. The space between the two ships became a battlefield of impossible physics. The Horizon seemed to bend reality itself, shifting between positions that should have been impossible for a ship of its size. Energy weapons that should have destroyed it simply passed through where the ship had been moments before. Sung-Ho continued his precise control. Each system was an extension of human innovation. Adaptive technologies that learned and responded faster than any traditional combat system could predict. The ship was alive, thinking, responding. The Crotal communication channels erupted with confusion. Warnings, panic. Their massive warship, a symbol of technological superiority, was being systematically dismantled by a vessel that looked like nothing more than a simple merchant ship. Another strike. Another precisely targeted burst of energy that disabled critical systems. The Horizon moved like a ghost, striking and disappearing before the Crotal could even comprehend the attack. Shield modulation at maximum, Sung-Ho reported. They can't get a solid lock on us. Jay watched the tactical display. This wasn't just a battle. This was a demonstration. A message to be sent across the galaxy about human capabilities. The Crotal ship began to break apart, not through massive explosions but through calculated strikes that removed its ability to fight. Its weapon systems went dark one by one. Its defensive capabilities crumbled under the precise, almost surgical attacks. Sung-Ho allowed himself a small smile. Years of preparation, years of developing technologies that defied conventional understanding. This was their moment. The battle lasted less than 15 minutes. 15 minutes that would change how the galaxy viewed human space. Capabilities forever. As the last of the Crotal ship systems failed, the Horizon remained untouched. Not a single system damaged. Not a single crew member injured. Target neutralized, Jay said simply. Space returned to its previous silence. But everything had changed. The small human vessel had just demonstrated something far more important than military might. It had shown adaptability, innovation, the ability to turn apparent weakness into unexpected strength. Sung-Ho began the process of documenting the encounter. Every detail would be analyzed, every movement studied. This was more than a battle. This was a statement about human potential. The Horizon continued its course, looking for all the world like nothing more than a simple merchant vessel. But now, something had changed. The galaxy would be watching, and they would remember this moment. The remaining Crotal ships arrived like an angry swarm, massive vessels that blocked out the stars, their weapon systems charging with enough energy to destroy entire planetary colonies. They expected to find the wreckage of their first ship. Instead, they found something else entirely. The Horizon looked small, almost insignificant against the massive fleet that surrounded it. But appearances could be deceiving. Sung-Ho's fingers moved with lightning speed. Multiple targets incoming, he called out. His voice remained calm, almost bored. Jay, Park watched the tactical display. What looked like simple merchant ship systems began to shift. Panels that seemed ordinary moments before transformed. Weapon ports emerged from hidden locations. Defense systems that defied standard physics powered up. The first wave of Crotal attacks came simultaneously. Hundreds of energy weapons targeted the single human vessel. Any normal ship would have been vaporized instantly. The Horizon wasn't a normal ship. It moved like liquid mercury. Energy weapons passed through where the ship had been, creating spectacular light shows in the darkness of space. But this was more than just advanced maneuvering. This was a calculated dance of destruction. Sung-Ho activated the ship's quantum adaptive system. Each incoming attack was not just avoided, but analyzed. The ship learned. It predicted. It responded. Initiating multi-vector counterattack, he announced. The Horizon began to fight back. But this wasn't a traditional space battle. This was a complete reimagining of space combat. Weapon systems that looked like maintenance panels became precision strike. Platforms, energy redirectors turned defensive shields into offensive weapons. The Crotal fleet found themselves fighting something they couldn't understand, a ship that didn't follow any known rules of space combat. One by one, Crotal vessels began to fall. Not through massive explosions, but through precise surgical strikes that disabled critical systems. A weapon port here, a shield generator there. Each strike calculated to maximum effect with minimum energy expenditure. Jay watched the tactical display. This was more than a battle. This was a statement about human potential. The ship's adaptive systems worked faster than any traditional computer could process. Each attack was learned, each movement predicted. The Horizon became a living weapon, constantly changing, constantly adapting. Sung-Ho's voice cut through the tension. Quantum entanglement weapons charged, targeting primary command vessels, the YI. Attacks came from impossible angles. Weapons that seemed to bend the laws of physics, striking targets before the Crotal could even comprehend the threat. The massive fleet found itself fighting an enemy that shouldn't exist. Space became a canvas of light and destruction. But the Horizon remained untouched. Not a single system damaged. Not a single crew member at risk. Hours passed in what seemed like moments. The Crotal fleet, once a symbol of technological superiority, was systematically dismantled. Not through brute force, but through intelligent, adaptive combat. Final vessels neutralized, Sung-Ho reported. Jay looked out at the field of disabled Crotal ships. This was more than a victory. This was a message, a demonstration of human potential that would echo through the galaxy. The Horizon continued its course. To any external observer, it would look like nothing more than a simple merchant vessel. But everything had changed. Sung-Ho began recording the encounter. Every detail would be analyzed, every movement studied. This wasn't just a battle. This was a redefinition of space combat. The ship's systems hummed softly, adaptive technologies cooling down, weapon systems returning to their hidden configurations. The Horizon had shown its true face, and the galaxy would never be the same. As the last of the Crotal vessels drifted powerless, the small human ship continued its journey, silent, unassuming, waiting for the next encounter. The communications network exploded with activity. Reports, rumors, and official transmissions raced across multiple star systems. A single human merchant vessel had destroyed an entire Crotal battle fleet. At first, nobody believed it. Galactic communication channels became a storm of disbelief and confusion. Military analysts from different species studied the battle recordings, trying to understand what had happened. The Horizon's tactical movements defied everything they knew about space combat. J. Park filed her official report with bureaucratic calm. Each word was precise, each detail carefully documented. No drama, no excitement, just pure factual information about an impossible victory. Sung-Ho worked beside her, transferring battle data to secure networks. Their ship's computer had recorded every millisecond of the encounter, every weapon strike, every defensive maneuver. A complete record of how a small vessel had changed galactic understanding. The Crotal Confederation went silent. Their communication networks became dead zones. The defeat was too massive, too complete to immediately process. An entire battle, fleet destroyed by a ship that looked like nothing more than a simple merchant vessel. Diplomatic channels began to buzz. Human diplomatic offices received countless inquiries. What technologies had been used? How was this possible? The questions came from everywhere. Military analysts, political leaders, competing alien civilizations. Humans, however, revealed nothing. The Horizon continued its original mission, a trade route that now seemed almost comically ordinary after the recent battle. No celebration, no massive announcements, just business as usual. But everything had changed. Other alien civilizations began to reassess their understanding of human capabilities. The recordings of the battle were studied, analyzed, picked apart. Each viewing revealed new layers of technological complexity that seemed to defy known physics. Military academies across multiple star systems added the encounter to their training materials, a case study of unexpected warfare, a demonstration of adaptive combat technologies that challenged everything they understood about space battles. The Crotal Confederation's reputation crumbled. Their claims of technological superiority became a galactic joke. A massive battle fleet destroyed by a single ship that looked like a simple merchant vessel. Jay and Sung Ho remained unchanged. They completed their trade mission, delivered their cargo, collected their payment. To them, this was just another day. But whispers spread. Stories began to circulate. The humans had done something impossible. They had shown that size didn't matter, that innovation could overcome traditional military might. Quantum communication networks carried the story, from one star system to another. A tale of unexpected victory, of a ship that wasn't what it appeared to be. The Horizon became more than a ship. It became a symbol, a reminder that humanity was not to be underestimated. Weeks passed. The initial shock began to fade, but the message remained clear. Humans had capabilities that went far beyond what anyone had previously understood. Sung Ho completed the final battle analysis. Jay reviewed the report. Another day. Another mission completed. The ship's systems hummed softly. Adaptive technologies waiting. Weapon systems hidden behind simple panels. Ready for the next encounter. In the vast darkness of space, the Horizon continued its journey. Silent, unassuming, a weapon disguised as a merchant vessel. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Appearances could be deceiving, and humanity was full of surprises. No massive celebration, no grand speeches, just a quiet, complete victory that would be remembered for generations.